Okay, WWE Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view. Well, network event, you get the idea. Anyway, watched the show late last night, so that's why the setup is what it is right now. Few notes going into this. First off, Alexa Bliss had to drop out of her match and be replaced by Alicia Fox because of broken nose and I think also a concussion. She's technically been cleared, but I think they decided to err on the side of caution there. There was nothing of note on the kickoff show. It was just a bunch of interviews. There wasn't a kickoff show match or anything of that nature. They did do like this weird red carpet thing, which I don't think I've ever seen on a pay-per-view before. And the show opened with a performance of the theme song by Lindsay Hale and Nina Strauss. And that's pretty much it. Anyway, our first match going into this is Trish Stratus and Lita versus Alicia Fox, subbing in for Alexa Bliss, and Mickie James. Bliss did introduce her teammates essentially as the true pioneers of the women's division. Mickie and Lita opened up. This was a pretty so-so match. Obviously, you have Trish, who hasn't been in the ring in, I want to say, almost, well, maybe a little bit more than a decade, almost a decade, I want to say. Was it 2010 or 2011? Yeah, and you have Lita, who, outside of the appearance in the Royal Rumble, hasn't been in the ring since 2006. The ring rust was definitely there. On top of that, there was... It was just a pretty bog standard tag match, really. About the biggest stunt early on is Trish flipped. Trish hit a top rope. Trish and Mickie were actually throwing elbows at each other while perched on the turnbuckle, and then Trish managed to get up and hit a top rope Hurricane Rana from the turnbuckle. But other than that, there wasn't too much there. Alexa Bliss broke up a Lita moonsault attempt. Fox hit a Northern Lights suplex for a 2 count. Lita countered a body slam into a death drop DDT. Trish tagged in and hit a short arm powerbomb. And then Trish went for the this is where the real clunky bit happened. Trish went for a Stratusfaction, but obviously Alicia Fox was supposed to be in position to break the tag up immediately, but it didn't happen, so to break the pin up almost immediately, but that didn't happen. In fact, she was actually late in like I said, it didn't result in a 3 count, but the pin was not broken up at the time it was supposed to be. At that point, Lita came in and hit a moonsault onto both Alicia and Mickie, and then Trish landed the chick kick for the 3 count and the victory. Like I said, obviously I'm trying to account for the ring rust as much as possible, but yeah, this match was pretty... Okay, our next match is the 20-woman Battle Royale, with the winner receiving a championship opportunity in the not-too-distant future. I'm not going to go over every competitor that was in there because they introduced each of them individually, which kind of screams that they needed to pad out the show. I will be going over the eliminations. The Iconics were the last 2 introduced. They kind of ran down everyone, so everyone ganged up on them and tossed them out of the ring off the bat. At that point, Molly Holly was eliminated by the team of Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. The 2 then took out Kelly Kelly and Tori Wilson. And then Mandy Rose eliminated Sonya Deville. So I guess they're working the breakup angle finally. I don't know how that's going to entirely play out. After that, Nia Jax eliminated Alundra Blaze, Maria Kanellis. Then she teamed up with Tamina Snuka and they'll at that point they just knocked everyone down. They didn't eliminate anyone at that point. But then Lana tried to play Peacemaker, and she got tossed out. Carmella then eliminated Mandy Rose. Ember Moon then eliminated Dana Brooke. Michelle McCool was eliminated by Ember Moon after that. Ember Moon also eliminated Carmella. Ivory was still in the match at this point until Asuka eliminated her, and then Ember eliminated Asuka and Tamina. This left, and also Naomi got eliminated at some point, but I didn't catch it on camera at all. And that left Ember Moon and Nia Jax in the ring, except Zelina Vega was not eliminated either. She was sort of playing on the outside, waiting for the right opportunity. Nia and Ember were kind of perched on the top rope at one point. Zelina slipped in and flipped both of them up, but neither of them actually got out of the ring, so she didn't win, and Nia came in immediately and eliminated Zelina Vega. Nia and Ember brawled for a bit, and then Nia eliminated Ember Moon for the win. Nia Jax wins. She got on the microphone afterwards, obviously. Given everything that's happened in the past week, she dedicated the victory to her family, and she, she's willing to take on either Nikki Bella or Ronda Rousey. So, yeah. Overall, it wasn't an entirely bad Battle Royal. It was pretty standard. I do kind of wish maybe there weren't as many legends in there. You could tell some of them were a little out of place. Like Alundra Blaze hasn't been in the ring in almost 20 years. I'm all for her being there, but maybe she should have been there in some other capacity. Molly Holly looked pretty good. I'd say I would have liked to have seen either some people from the Mae Young Classic or some NXT, not necessarily NXT call-ups, but just a couple of NXT competitors would have been nice too. Like, say, Nikki Cross. I mean, she's been due for a main roster spot. Heck, she was there on Raw when they announced the pay-per-view. They were getting they announced the All Women's pay-per-view. Why wasn't she in this? It could have worked. Okay, our next match is the finals of the Mae Young Classic. Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. I'm winging the pronunciation on that last one. But Storm, right off the bat, did some chain wrestling. She fought out of an arm wringer and hit a headlock takedown. She then came back with a running drop kick. Shirai fought back and did a double handstand into kind of her pendulum knee, double knee smash. Shirai locked on kind of a sitting octopus stretch, if that makes any sense. Like, it was part of the Rings of Saturn, but she was also kind of bridging into Storm's legs a little bit. Storm came back and Shirai drop kicked Storm off the top turnbuckle. She then hit a moonsault to the outside of the ring. Storm came back and hit a German suplex on the ring apron. Storm hit two really, really stiff German suplexes in this. I mean, there were thuds. You could hear. I had the volume really low on my TV because it was so late, but you could hear the thuds pretty loud. I mean, and of course the ring apron, as we all know, is the hardest part of the ring. At least that's what they say. Shirai came back and hit the 619 and a sunset flip for a 2 count. Storm hit a Tiger Bomb for a 2 count. Shirai went for her moonsault, but Storm got the knees up and came back and hit the Tiger Bomb for the 3 count and the victory. Toni Storm wins the Mae Young Classic. A match that its only real drawback was that it was too short. But they managed in that they were limited down to almost 10 minutes, but they packed that 10 minutes with a lot of action. This was a good, solid match where you didn't quite know who exactly was going to win. I'm kind of glad that Toni Storm won. Nothing against Io Shirai. I think she's obviously a great wrestler, and I'd like to see more of her. But I think, no offense, but after having a Japanese wrestler win last year, it kind of made a bit more sense to have someone else win. I mean, I don't want it to just be catering to the Japanese wrestlers, and I'm not saying that hating the Japanese wrestlers, but if you just have the Japanese winning this all the time, it's going to look kind of fishy. Alright, our next match is the 6-woman tag match, the Riot Squad versus Natalya, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. Actually, a much better match than I kind of thought it was going to be. I just thought it was going to be another standard six-person tag, but in this case, Liv and Natalia opened up. I mean, Liv got some cheap shots on Natalia. I mean, the Riot Squad actually functioned really well as a unit in this case. They were tagging in frequently. They were isolating their opponents. Bayley was in there. There was one point Bayley hit kind of this running drop kick using the turnbuckle, the ring post as kind of an anchor so she could swing through and actually land it. And then she went for it again, but the Riot Squad had baited her into it, and Sarah Logan hit a running drop kick, sending Bayley basically into the ring post. Kind of hard to describe here. Let's say this was the ring post. Bayley could do this drop kick like that. Instead, she was going about halfway through. Logan drop kicked her, and she got sent into the, or basically her Bayley's midsection got sent into the ring post. Bayley hits Sarah Logan with a, Sasha tagged in and hit a flying knee shot on Ruby Riott. This point, Sasha Bayley hit a double team backstabber into the Bayley to belly. Got broken up. The Riot Squad kept trying to hit their big moves, but didn't quite seem to take too long. Didn't quite seem to take at that point. Natalia caught in, put both, I believe it was Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan in the sharpshooter. Liv Morgan broke that up, but then Sasha hit the frog splash on Liv Morgan for the 3 count and the victory. I have to admit, a much better match than I thought it would be. They seemed to plot it out. They actually told a story, which you don't normally see in the 6-person tags. It's usually just kind of thrown together. I would say the one real drawback is the Riot Squad losing again. Like, you keep telling us the Riot Squad is this dominant faction in the women's division, and they're on the verge of taking over, but they keep losing. They lose all the time. They never win. Like, how are we supposed to believe them as a credible threat when they don't win? This was a chance to really do something with that. Okay, next up is the NXT Women's the NXT Women's Championship match. Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. Sane came in, she had a big kick into a single leg takedown and followed that with a running forearm. Baszler threw Kairi into the ring steps. Baszler hit 2 corner knee strikes and then hit a gut wrench suplex. Baszler, they did kind of the elbow stomp thing again using Kairi Sane's hyperfluidity that she has, and so she can make it look even sicker. Where she torques the elbow up and then Shayna Baszler stomps on it. Sane tried to put on the cloverleaf, but she was selling the arm the whole time, so she couldn't quite. I can't remember what her cloverleaf hold is called. I want to say it's the anchor, but I may be wrong on that. Sane hit up in a jumping neck breaker. They got to the outside of the ring. At one point, Baszler draped Sane over the top rope and did a top wrist knot on the upper arm, or the injured arm. They dueled out into the crowd. In fact, the 2 of the other 4 horsewomen of MMA, obviously Ronda Rousey wasn't in the crowd, but I apologize if I butcher these names. Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir were in the crowd, and Sane back body dropped Baszler into them. At that point, the other 2 began to interfere in the match. They got over the ring area. They got over the barricade and entered into the area. They distracted Sane long enough for Baszler to lock on the rear naked choke with a coquina clutch, and Sane passed out. So yeah, once more, Shayna Baszler is NXT champion. Not entirely surprising, because while I did enjoy the women's championship match at Brooklyn, you kind of knew, it's like, boy, there's something sort of, I don't want to say it's fishy, but the way they did it, countering the rear naked choke into the pinning predicament and not hitting the insane elbow or anything of that nature. Yeah, exactly. It's like you kind of wondered, were they going to just put the belt back on Shayna, which they did. Um, Obviously, they're probably going to lead to something at the next Takeover, which is Takeover War Games. Uh, I don't know if they could do a cage match because they're probably going to have to do something to keep the other two four horsewomen at bay. So, like I said, I did enjoy this match. I thought it was definitely better than the Takeover Brooklyn match. The one thing I'd say is I don't think they worked the interference in very well. They didn't. It didn't quite. It did come across as being a little clunky and poorly staged at that point. Okay, first things first. Sorry if there's some background noise. The heater got turned on right here. I'm going to try to just power through here because we only got a couple matches left. The next match is the last women's standing match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Again, a lot of boo the woo signs in the crowd. Yeah, they're still firmly in Becky's corner no matter how much WWE tries to make her into a heel. Right off the bat, there was a bit where Charlotte managed to land the first blow and knock Becky down. Like, not even in a knockout position, just down to her, well, down into a sitting position. And Mike Chioda, the ref, immediately started counting. After that, Becky came back. She threw Charlotte off the turnbuckle. Becky pulled out a kendo stick and began hitting Charlotte. She had trouble. The women all had trouble locating things under the ring in this match. Like, they would look and it's like, oh, it's not here. They'd have to walk a couple steps. It's not here. Oh, there it is. Becky, like I said, they struggled to locate other weapons. Eventually, they found some chairs. They threw that into the ring. Becky hit a flying forearm off of the ring steps onto Charlotte. Becky began piling up chairs in the ring. But of course, you do that in wrestling. You are the one who's going to get slammed on those chairs, and that's what happened. Charlotte hit a back suplex onto those chairs, and then Becky came back and hit Charlotte on those chairs. Slammed Charlotte in a manner, not quite a Uranagi, but something in that vein. Becky set up a table on the outside. Charlotte fought back, put Becky on the table. This was sort of a semi-botch here, I think, because Charlotte hit her moonsault, but the table didn't break. Cue Matthew from Botchamania. And then she came back again and hit a swanton through the table. Charlotte pulled out a ladder. Becky slammed Charlotte on the ladder. Charlotte came back and did the used the ladder as kind of a bridging point into the figure eight. Like, she figure forward Becky's legs through it, and she bridged, and then Charlotte bridged back into the figure eight. And it's at this point we had another a comically mistimed moment. Basically, it's supposed to set up for Becky to reach over and get a chair, but the chair was a little too far out of reach, and the referee, Mike Chioda, is walking by, and you can clearly see him kick the chair over to Becky Lynch. Like, oops. It's like, yeah, I mean, he was right next to the camera, like, you know, chair, Becky, Chioda, camera. He's right here. You can clearly see him kick the chair over to Becky. It got she fought out. They brawled around on the outside. Becky actually tried to leave the match at one point. They fought into the crowd. At one point, Charlotte began setting up a ladder and then tried to do a move off of the ladder onto the ring announce table, but Becky fought back, put Charlotte on the ring announce table, and hit a guillotine leg drop off of the ladder. Again, they fought on the outside of the ring. Charlotte speared Becky on the outside of the ring. Becky then Charlotte set up another table, tried to do her moonsault to the outside of the ring, but Becky got up and powerbombed Charlotte off of the ring apron and through the table. Charlotte failed to answer the 10 count. Becky Lynch retains. Good, amazingly clean win. Again, have to wonder if they're trying to keep Becky face or heel in this scenario, because they just had her win clean in this match. some of the high spots took a little bit of a time to set up. Like, I don't know how well they went over them. There was one point I did miss. After Becky hit the guillotine leg drop, she buried Charlotte under a bunch of the chairs in the area, but Charlotte managed to get out, and it was a great job of selling that. Like, oh no, I still got to deal with this again. Charlotte speared, like I said, the power bomb looked vicious. I mean, there were times like you kept thinking like, okay, is she gonna get it? She starts to get up, and then, like I said, Charlotte was actually kind of onto her knees, but she couldn't quite fully stand up. Like, I don't think they executed that part right. But still, this was the match of the night. They did a really good job of telling everything. Okay, and that leads us into our main event, the Raw Women's Championship match, Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. Right off the bat, obviously Rousey showed she was probably the better in-ring worker. No offense to Nikki Bella in that aspect, that she has worked into being at least decent in the ring, but right off the bat, Rousey was tossing Nikki, around the ring. She would tease Rousey would tease going for the armbar. At that point, Brie Bella inserted herself in the match and began distracting Rousey, allowing both Bellas to shove her into the ring post. Nikki then locked on a sleeper and then modified that into a head scissors. Nikki then slammed Rousey's head off of it's the post. That doesn't look right. Anyway, Nikki then hit a spin kick from the second rope, which you all know is the deadliest rope. Rousey then dodged a baseball slide, and Nikki sold hurting her neck. Like, Nikki was trying to do a baseball slide kick through the ropes, but Rousey actually managed to like bridge up, and Nikki slid under her, but Nikki was selling a neck injury after that point. Rousey hit the swinging Samoan drop onto both Bellas. Ronda tossed Brie over the announce table. But that enabled Nikki to hit the Alabama Slam and then the Rack Attack 2.0, but only got a 2 count on that. At that point, Nikki tried to go for a top rope move. Ronda Rousey superplexed her and then locked on the armbar, and Nikki immediately tapped thereafter. Again, a match I far exceeded my expectations for this. Like I said, the Bellas are at least, well, Nikki can be decent in the ring, but I wouldn't put her up as a truly high work rate person. But again, they did a really good job of telling the story in this match. I would say maybe the one real drawback is, again, like, we finally get a really good in-ring worked Ronda Rousey match, and it's with a part-timer. Again, like, her 2 best matches so far have been this one and the tag match at WrestleMania, neither of which featured, regular wrestlers. I kind of wish that we got something else into this point that could show how much more they could do with her. Like, I don't think she's really tapped into her full potential in this business yet. After the match, there did seem to be some mutual respect going on, and in fact, all the women involved, I think even a few of the backstage women came out, saluted the crowd, everyone went home happy, so that worked. I would say the real drawbacks to this show, and these are a few minor complaints. No NXT UK Women's Championship match, which they had sort of promised was going to happen. I know there's some scheduling mix-ups with the taping and everything, but still, it's like you could have done that better. No Women's Tag Team Championships, which, again, they were alluding to being announced for this show, but nope, that didn't happen. Like I said, I thought the Battle Royal had a little too much, the past, present, future Battle Royal had a little too much of the past and not much of the future. You could have called it, I would have rather seen some, like I said, we could have had a couple that I don't know who had necessarily tried, like, again, as much as I respect Alundra Blaze, I probably shouldn't have been in this match. Tori Wilson really shouldn't have been in this match. Kelly really should not have. I mean, have them be in the crowd, acknowledge them, respect what they contributed to this business, but don't put them in the match. You could, again, I would have rather seen, a Nikki Cross, maybe some of the competitors from the Mae Young Classic, Maya Yim, someone like that. Exactly. Even someone who's basically a jobber in NXT like Aaliyah, I think would have worked fine. I would have rather seen that. Yeah, exactly. We didn't exactly get a lot of the future, in other words. Also, they did not announce who John Cena's replacement is going to be at the World Cup for Crown Jewel. They probably should be doing that because he's already said he's not competing in this, and if you keep advertising him, people already know he's not going to be there. So just acknowledge that. I do plan on covering Crown Jewel, but it's not going to be as detailed in my notes. I think I'm just probably going to write down who wins. I feel I'll probably state a little bit more on that, but yeah, I'll say it right now. If I had my druthers, that show should have been canceled or at least moved. It's like you're way too stuck in this now. I mean, that deal with the Saudi government must be locked tight because I don't know if there was just anything they could have done. And this does feel like again like Greatest Royal Rumble and Super Showdown, where it's kind of just a beefed up house show. The fact that they are going to be crowning a new Universal champion at this kind of feels like maybe I do need to cover it. Also, I don't know what they're going to do between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. Bryan himself even said he wasn't going to work it, but now he is. I don't know how that's going to play out. Also, and I'm trying to think what's the other thing. Obviously, the World Cup. I know some people have said, the latest rumor I heard is that it's going to be Bobby Lashley replacing John Cena, but I wouldn't be surprised if, say, Dean Ambrose did that, because then they could build to him being the new #1 contender for the Universal Championship. But, like I said, I guess we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so the next video up is going to be the review of, like I said, in all likelihood it's going to be Nutcracker in the Four Realms. And then also we've got the random trade review on the Ray coming up. See you all then. Hey guys, I forgot to give the show an overall grade, so I'm going to give this a B+. Like I said, the show was enjoyable, but there were some glaring flaws that I think need to be addressed before they do this again. Hey guys, tired of me always talking about WWE and NXT? Want to see me cover something like, say, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan, anything else? Check out my Patreon at Sleepy Time for Cat Productions and see how you can help me expand my wrestling coverage.